Good. Think we good. What's good, y'all? What's good? What's good? Let's get this started. Yeah. What's good, y'all? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's great? Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast. I'm your host, Ashley Lovechild, and we're back with episode 190. Wow, that's a lot of episodes. I want to thank y'all for tuning in each and every Thursday, every Sunday at 10:30. Your support means the world to me. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. If this is your first time watching tonight, again, it's Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast. I'm your host, Ashley Lovechild, and this is episode 190. We talk about everything here, from social commentary, sports, entertainment, movies, books. We talk about the whole nine. So again, hope you enjoy, and we can rock out tonight. I also want to thank our presenting sponsor of this podcast, which is Button Snaps, where you get the finest of movies, shows, documentary, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, that's Button Snaps. That's the word button, hyphenated sign, and the word snaps.com. That's the word button, hyphenated sign, and the word snaps.com. Uh, Also, a quick shout out to for those that have been checking out my new EP, listening to it, streaming to it. Thank you. Your support is everything. It means the world to me. For those who haven't heard of it yet, just type in Ashley Lovechild on any music platform, and my new EP, Winner's Loyalty, will pop up. Also, shout out to the chat, man. The chat is in here deep, as always, showing major love. Shout out to I see who I see in the building. I see quite a few. Shout out to King P in the building. Thank you for that gifted. Let's start this off right. Love to the pod, bro. Appreciate you, King P. Appreciate that in the building as always. Also, quick shout out to Winter as well. A shout out to Ebony as well. Shout out to Tremont in the building. You're Brooklyn. Okay, Brooklyn in the building. Love it. Shout out to Hazel. Shout out to Hazel in the building. Hazel Hannett. Make sure you check out that new album, Cover Girl. And I see Culture Talk in the building. Appreciate you tapping in, man. My dude, we in here. And shout out to Solo Slim in the building. Appreciate Solo Slim for tapping in the building. Appreciate that. You already know, man. Yo, we're going to have a great show. Been an amazing weekend. Been an amazing day. It's also been a day of enlightenment as well. So we're going to have some great energy tonight. And on top of that, we're going to make sure that we give that great information as always. Y'all already know, stay engaged in the chat. Is always that much more fun on the pod when you do. And let's have us a good time tonight. Shout out to Paul in the building. Appreciate Paul in the building. You already know how we do it, Paul. We about to get suited and booted. Let's get it popping. And y'all, please, send me some fun ideas to do for episode 200. We got episode 200 coming up. And I want to do, a little fun thing for the pod on live. So, give me some ideas that I can do to include in the 200th episode. So, let me know. Shoot me some ideas during the pod. All right? All right, cool. All right, y'all. First segment of the night. Popular opinions. Now, remember, y'all, this is not my questions. These are the world's questions. Stick to the answers in the questions. This segment is brought to you by OUV Records. You go to Instagram at OUV Records, and you can stay in tune to the latest music and merchandise. The label motto is create, document, and inspire. You see it right there. And also, you can tap into the merchandise within the page as well, or in the pod. We got links in the bio. You can go to fourthwall.com, and you get 10% of all merchandise if you use the promo code BrothersPod. Again, use the promo code BrothersPod. Get 10% off of everything on fourthwall.com. All right, y'all, let's get this popping. You already know popular opinions. First question of the night. Which artist have the best music videos on this list? Again, overall, which artists have the best music videos on this list? Number one, DMX. Number two, Missy Elliott. Number three, Ludacris. Number four, Busta Rhymes. Let me know what y'all think in the chat. Let me know what y'all think in the chat. And remember, this is all time, all greats who got the best music videos again on this list. Again, which artists have the best music videos on this list? Number one, DMX. Number two, Missy Elliott. Number three, Ludacris. Number four, Busta Rhymes. All of these artists are legends. They next level, high profile artists, and their music videos help them be even more bigger. Like even with just the music, when you seen their music videos, all of these artists felt like an experience. And to be honest with you, some of these videos even made the song that much more better. So, I mean, honestly, I don't think there's any wrong answer on this. Me personally, my favorite out of everybody, because they had a lot of balance in their music and I got different messaging, different styles. Me personally, I'm gonna say DMX. I'm gonna say DMX as far as music videos. Now I know Busta got his signature videos that, I mean, can't be denied. Missy, Luda, can't be denied. But for me, the reason why I'm going with DMX is because his songs had different messages, so his videos had different messages. You could get a party up here, or you could get, you know, what you want from a brother, or you could get how's it going down. You could get stop being greedy. You know, one of my favorite songs, I can't even think of the song that I'm thinking about with DMX, Slippin', that video in itself, it's just something about those videos that fit those songs for me that I'm gonna have DMX as, you know, as my favorite on this list. Let me check out the chat. Shout out to Twin in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. Hit them likes, hit the 100s. They went with Busta Rhymes. Paul went with Busta Rhymes. Solo. Everybody in the chat went with Busta Rhymes. You know what I'm saying? Everybody in the chat went with Busta Rhymes. So again, the question was, which artists have the best music videos on this list? There's no wrong answer to this, right? Number one, DMX. Number two, Missy Elliott. Number three, Ludacris. Number four, Busta Rhymes. I went with DMX. The chat overwhelmingly went with Busta Rhymes. The rest of the world at 35%, mind you, over 21,000 people voted on this, went with number four, Busta Rhymes. So, that, I mean, again, to me, there's no wrong answer because all four of them got signature videos, fire videos. All of them are legends, and their videos help include into their iconic status, in my opinion. And Busta Rhymes, I spoke about him last episode, how pivotal he was in the music space. And so I'm not mad at that at all. Not mad at that at all. Shout out to Mac in the building. Appreciate Mac in the building. Shout out to Clap in the building. Rest in peace, DMX. When you hear his verse on 4, 3, 2, 1, fire verse. Fire verse. I'm a big DMX fan. So, you know, again, I think I said it before. My favorite DMX song is Lord Give Me a Sign. That's my favorite DMX song, yes. He has so many songs, I was kind of froze for a second. Taylor Swift, no doubt. You stupid, man. He said Taylor Swift. DMX had life lesson stories. Yes, Busta Rhymes had entertainment stories. True, very facts. Video-wise, yes. DMX is better than Busta. I am with you. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we're talking about the videos in itself. You know what I mean? It's just his videos resonated. You know, but I'm not gonna lie. 8th grade, on my way to school, watching flavor videos. I know I'm telling my age, and I don't care. I already said it before. I'm 41 years old. Proud of it. That's the whole goal, is to get older. I don't see how we in our coaching be like, you just had a birthday? Oh, that's crazy. Anyway, right? So, and watching flavor videos, and ain't nothing hit harder then put your hands where my eyes could see. With that video was basically, a Coming to America homage, and he did it in his style, which was iconic and fire. So, but shout out to everybody on this list because they're all legends, they're all icons. But the rest of the world and the chat went with Busta Rhymes for having the best music videos on this list. All right, y'all, moving on to our next popular opinion question. Top states to live in. Top states to live in. And this is according to the censors. Number 1, Massachusetts. Number 2, New Jersey. Number 3, Idaho. Number 4, Wisconsin. Let me know what y'all think about this in the chat. Let me know. Again, top states to live in according to the Census Bureau. Number 1, Massachusetts. Number 2, New Jersey. Number 3, Idaho. Number 4, Wisconsin. Let me know what y'all think in the chat. I've been to 3 out of 4 of these places. I've never been to Idaho, so I'm pretty sure Idaho is an experience in itself. But I've been everywhere else on this list. I'm not gonna lie to you. If I had to live anywhere else outside of where I live now, I would say New Jersey. I don't want to live in New Jersey, but if I had to choose, because Wisconsin gets cold. They right by the lakes, baby. They have a new definition of cold. Massachusetts, it get cold too, but I mean, I grew up in Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? That Boston green don't look good on me. You know what I'm saying? That Boston green don't look good on me, dog. I'm just saying. So I have to go with New Jersey. Born and raised from Brooklyn, I'm going to have to say New Jersey. I've never been to Idaho. But this is according to the Census Bureau, how people live, the quality of life. I'm surprised Florida's not on this list. This is why people move to Florida, because the quality of life is amazing. Or Texas. But it's not. So again, Massachusetts, number 1. Number 2, New Jersey. Number 3, Idaho. Number 4, Wisconsin. In the chat, let me see what's going on in the chat. I'm seeing a whole lot of Jersey in the chat. I'm seeing a whole lot of Jersey in the chat in the building. All terrible, but New Jersey. New Jersey have very great tax laws for residents in New Jersey. Or residents in New Jersey. Idaho is dead bad. What people used to tell me Idaho used to be popping. You know what I'm saying? They told me Boise was popping. That's what they told me. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I'm saying. That's what they told me. I would say Idaho sounds nice and slow. Yeah, I see, me personally, I like living in the area that's slow, but I could drive into the turn up, if that makes sense. Then I could drive out of it. You know what I'm saying? So, but again, I've never been to Idaho. But they tell me Boise gets popping. So, all right, y'all, moving it right along. So again, Massachusetts, New Jersey, Idaho, Wisconsin. I said New Jersey. The chat said New Jersey. The rest of the world at 53% and over 50,000 people voted on this said Massachusetts, y'all. Massachusetts. I'm actually surprised about that. Because Massachusetts is kind of expensive too. So I'm actually surprised on that. And then the actual best place to live, according to the Census Bureau, is Massachusetts. Number 2 is Idaho. Number 3 is New Jersey. And number 4 is Wisconsin. So I'm surprised at how that list actually shaped up and everybody voted on Massachusetts. So Massachusetts is not bad, to be honest. Better pay, great connectivity. See, and I think that's what the thing is, because even though it's expensive, they do pay you well in Massachusetts. So I would say that. But I'm telling you, them tax laws from New Jersey, I'm telling you, they give y'all really good tax laws in New Jersey. I'm trying to tell you, you know what I'm saying? All right, y'all, moving on to our next segment. Our Hollywood Need to Ask Us segment. I came up with the segment because outside of the movie Sinners in the month of July, Hollywood has just been giving us a whole lot of trash ass movies we didn't ask for. They said it in the chat, no connectivity, no interest, no intrigue. So I got better ideas for a movie or a movie series. Hollywood need to ask us. I would love to see, and I've said it before, but I didn't say it in the Hollywood need to ask us motto. And we were just spitballing one day, right? But in the elk of this, I would love to see a Dragon Ball Z movie. Why can't we get a quality Dragon Ball Z movie or series of movies? Like when I see Avengers, Captain America, even DC doing their thing now with Superman and Fantastic Four. Why can't we get a credible, really good Dragon Ball Z movie? And normally, when you have movies like this, such the Marvel, such the Batman, such the Superman, such the Aquaman, to have great movies like that, all you need is great villains. Dragon Ball Z have the most known villains out of everybody. Out of everybody, the most known villains in all comic book world obviously is the Joker, your Thanos now, Penguin, and so on and so forth, right? And this is just overall. This is not just one area and group, right? But Dragon Ball Z, they have too many known bad guys. Too many. Too many. You got Goku's brother. You got Vegeta was a bad guy at first, then kind of converted into like an anti-hero. You got Raditz. The list go on and on. You got Frieza, you got Cell, Supercell, you got Android 17, Android 18, Android 16. You got Dr. Gero, which is his character would be super fire on the live action. On the live action, Dr. Gero would be super OD. Majin Buu, then he became basically, the big soft version. He got the negative version out of Majin Buu. He became more of a good guy. But even Majin Buu in the first beginning of that, you just have too many great bad guys. You got the Ginyu Force. It goes on and on and on. So I think that would be such a fire franchise to actually do it right. The Dragon Ball Z franchise. Even Piccolo was a bad guy in the beginning, and then he turned into, a good guy, when he got invested in Gohan. So again, they need to do Dragon Ball Z. It's just too many dope characters that people want to see. And if they really did this the right way, they would make a disgustingly amount of money. It will be disgusting. You think them lines for Capcom in itself will be crazy, or I forget the actual maker that makes Dragon Ball Z. But if you thought these events, but I say Capcom because even at Capcom, people do dressed up as Goku and all these other characters. You know how disgustingly crazy those lines would be, especially if it's a good movie. Oh my goodness. That movie, it would make so much money. It would make so much money, it wouldn't even be funny. It wouldn't even be funny. So, at the end of the day, they need to make this. They need to make this. I'm telling you, it will be absolute fire. And then you got the ultimate hero, Goku. He thinks well of everybody to the detriment of him and the world and his team. So I think if they actually invested into the Dragon Ball Z series and made it into a live action movie, it will make disgusting amount of money. And if they do this, I would love to see Anthony Russo and Joe Russo co-direct this movie. These are the same directors that did Civil War, Marvel's Captain America Civil War. That would be fire. The way how they direct their movies, and you give them the Dragon Ball Z flag. And one thing Dragon Ball Z did so well in the cartoon that they would do amazingly in the movies is build up fights. They build up the fight so much it just drive you crazy. Like, yo, fight already. You know what I'm saying? We already ready for this. So I think this will be an absolute no-brainer. Grand slam out the park when it comes to the idea, the money that it would generate, especially if this is a good Dragon Ball Z movie. People won't want at least like 10 of these because they got too many known villains. So I think this would be an absolute fire. But me personally, I would not want it to be PG-13. I want it rated R. I want it rated R. I need to see blood and guts because these guys got too much power not to see a whole lot of blood. The Kamehamehas and all that stuff is just too much going on for us not to see blood and people not, die in the most brutal way on screen in the movie. So I think this would be an absolute knock in the park. Again, action, sci-fi, and again, I would love for Anthony Russo and Joe Russo to direct or co-direct this movie of the Dragon Ball Z series. I think it would be absolute fire. Shout out to Log in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. YouTube in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. I've heard of dreadlocks, but okay. Shout out to you. I want to remake DBZ Evolution. That would be fire too. That would be fire too. That would be fire too. Now, and that's what I'm saying. Because they have so many bad guys, they could get to that portion of that. Like, if they really tell the story, like the one thing about Marvel or the Marvel movies with X-Men that used to drive me crazy, they always kind of like, it felt like they always did the same movie. It always felt like a remake instead of progressing the story. If they really crafted out 10 movies of Dragon Ball Z and say, in this one, we're going to do, his brother, Raditz, and Supercell. The next one, we're going to do Frieza. If they planned it out like that, you could get all the fighters you want to see in these movies, and you could hit the different parts of Dragon Ball Z. Whether it's the prelude, whether the part 2, the part 3, I think this would be an absolute no-brainer and knock out the park, in my opinion. So I would love to see, again, my Hollywood Need to Ask Us. Well, Hollywood Need to Ask Us. I would love to see the Dragon Ball Z movie series. Shout out to y'all. Make sure y'all hit them likes, hit them 100s while you're here. It's Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast, and we talk about everything. And I'm your host, Ashley Lovechild. Shout out to the Trend Machine. Appreciate you tapping in. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next segment, our must-see segment. Must-see movies. I'm going to give y'all 3 must-see fire movies that's absolute fire. And y'all probably never heard of some of these, and I take pride in that. So make sure y'all tap into these movies. Last episode, I gave y'all Jason's Lyrics, Triple Frontier, and A Perfect Murder. I hope y'all checked into those movies. Tonight, my first movie, must-see movie, came out 1997. This directed by Kurt Voss. This movie stars Jamie Presley, Megan Edwards, Gregory Vinglow, Michael D. Behrens, and Susan Tyrrell. This is a fire movie. This movie is called Poison Ivy, The New Seduction. Fire movie. This is about 2 friends growing up in the same house, and their mother had an affair with their father, and you have to see the rest of the movie. I'm not going to spoil it. I haven't told you anything. Make sure you tap in to see this movie. Second must-see movie came out 1996, directed by Ernest Dickerson. This stars Adam Sandler, Damon Wayans, James Cain, Larry McCoy, and Kristen Wilson. This movie's called Bulletproof. Fire comedy movie. Come on, Damon Wayans and Adam Sandler in their prime. What type of comedy you think you gonna get? This is top tier comedy right here. So make sure y'all tap into this movie. This movie is about 2 friends. I'm trying not to spoil it. It's about 2 friends that get into a situation and they have to watch the rest of the movie. Because if I say it, y'all gonna know it. and y'all just gotta tap into the rest of the movie. All right, my third and final must-see movie came out 2001. It was directed by Gustavo G. Marino. This movie stars Mark DeCassos, Missy Satter, Kadeem Hardison, Jill Jacobson, Tim Abel, and Duran McBill. This movie is called Instinct to Kill. Fire movie. This is fire. This is about a man who strategically stalked a woman to marry her or to marry him. And you have to see the rest of the movie. It is a fire. I'm telling you, these movies are going to throw you off. Make sure you tap and to see these movies. So my 3 must-see movies again. Number 1, Poison Ivy, The New Seduction. Number 2, Bulletproof. And number 3, Instinct to Kill. Make sure you tap into those movies. Shout out to Solo Slim, one of my favorite movies. I'm telling you, these movies are fire. These movies is fire. Shout out to C in the build. Appreciate you tapping in. Hit them likes, hit the 100s. And there's my brother. Send a hug to Brazil. Brazil in the building. Appreciate that. We got Brazil in the building. Brazil, follow your work. My brothers, I dream of becoming a millionaire, making music and smoking American soy with big hug. Appreciate you tapping in. Hit them likes. Hit the 100s. Hit them likes. Hit the 100s. It does help with the growth of the show, and I appreciate y'all support immensely. But make sure y'all tap into these movies, man. These are fire must-see movies. Again, the Poison Ivy, The New Seduction. Number 2, Bulletproof. Number 3, Instinct to Kill. So make sure y'all tap into those movies. All right, y'all, moving on to must hear. You know, I'm going to give y'all some fire music to tap into, whether it's new, whether it's old, whether it's hip-hop or whether it's R&B. I'm going to give y'all some fire music for them good vibrations. So my artists that y'all got to tap into, put these 3 songs on your playlist from this artist. R&B group, High Five. Yes, the R&B group name is High Five. Make sure you put these 3 songs, y'all. Number 1, Never Shoulda Let You Go. Fire. It's like that song, classic. This is classic work right here. You know what I'm saying? Top tier, right? Never Shoulda Let You Go. Number 2, Faithful. Fire. Number 3, She's Playing Hard to Get. Fire song. I know it sounds kind of cringy, creepy, the title. It just spun out to me. It kind of sound kind of cringy, right? But when you hear the song, it's not cringy, all right? But it's a fire song. It's a fire tune, right? We just live in a different day and age. Back then, it was like she playing hard to get. Like, yo, I'm trying to holler. She knows she like me. But, you know, she's trying to make it more difficult than what it has to be. That's what it is. When you hear it's playing hard to get, like, oh, yeah, you playing hard to get, huh? You know? So, again, make sure you put those 3 songs on your playlist. Again, Never Shoulda Let You Go, Faithful, She's Playing Hard to Get, and it's by the group High Five. I'm trying to tell y'all, thank me later. Fire music. Shout out to Paul. Love that last one very much. Have to check for the other ones. Maybe heard of them, but sure. And I'm telling you, fire songs. Fire songs. Some of y'all may have heard of High Five before, but I'm telling y'all, these are fire songs. Make sure y'all tap into. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next one. Must read book. You know, I'm going to give y'all a great book to read. No further ado, make sure y'all tap into the great book called False Prophets and Preachers. It's called False Prophets and Preachers. This book is by Henrik Griesbeck. Fire book, great read. Make sure you tap into it. Again, it's called False Prophets and Preachers. And again, it's by Henrik Griesbeck. So make sure y'all tap into that book. Fire book, y'all. I'm telling you. All right, y'all. Moving on. You already know. Send them to Turkey or nah. This is a segment. It's kind of like an inside joke of the show. Turkey has some of the most stringent laws we've ever heard. So it became a joke when somebody's on some BS. We send them to Turkey. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get them out of here. We're gonna pack them up and get them to Turkey. Shout out to Zuber in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. Yo, bro, like your style. Appreciate that. Real ones recognize the real, so I appreciate that from the heart. Hit them likes, hit the 100s. We appreciate it. Helps with the growth of the show. Thank you. Thank you. All right, y'all. Send them to Turkey or not. Y'all already know how it go. We type in T to send them to Turkey, or we type in N not to send them to Turkey. All right, first one. An artist. I can't. Somebody have to find me this person's name. There's an artist who's been going around to all the Walmarts that's been doing a free concert. Are we sending him to Turkey or not for doing free concerts in Target? Let me know. Hit the T to send him to Turkey. Type in not to send him to Turkey. I wish I knew his name. If y'all know his name, because I will clip this later on, let me know if y'all know in the chat. Let me know if y'all know this artist's name. But me personally, I'm not going to send him to Turkey. I'm not. Like, real talk, like, the song is kind of fire. That's one. Number two, he's entertaining. And number three, you have to love the fearlessness of an artist that's like, yo, not only my music fire, my energy's fire, but I don't have no ears. I'm not putting on no type of stunts to make it seem like there's an extra facade going on. It's just me, my beat machine, my music, and I gets busy any and everywhere. So if he's willing to do that at Walmart, imagine what he could do on stage. So shout out to him. I wish I knew his name. I was really trying to find his name, and I can't find his name nowhere, but he's been pulling up to different Targets and performing and doing a damn good job. And shout out to that artist. So I can't send him to Turkey. I can't. I love the fact that he's doing it, and he's putting on a great show. He's putting on a great show, keeping the people entertained, and there's no way anybody should hate on that. The grind and the hustle. Everybody has their own way in the music business. So shout out to him again. I wish I knew his name. The chat not sending you to Turkey, bro. They not sending you to Turkey. They feeling the way I feel, bro. That's fire. I love the energy, man. I'm a designer, bro. If you need anything, I'm here, sir. Appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. You know, I love fashion, brother. I do. I love fashion. And so everybody else is not sending him to Turkey. I agree with y'all. I agree with y'all. We're not sending this brother to Turkey. Shout out to him. And again, if y'all know his name in the chat, when I clip this, if we don't get it tonight, somebody send me that brother name, because I would show that bro some light, because he deserves it. He's been doing his thing. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next. Send him to Turkey or nah. Type in T to send him to Turkey. Type it in not to. That artist got the old school hustle. That's a fact. Shout out to Solo. That's a fact. He got the old school hustle by any means necessary. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the crazy thing is, and before I go on to the next one, we, as a culture, the things that shine the most is the negativity. That's what shines the most. When we need to reverse it. Like, I remember there was a place in time when YouTube, I remember when people used to post stuff on YouTube, it was like people's first instinct to diss somebody on YouTube. Like, no support, no nothing. They just diss them. And then when people started, like, you know, internalizing those negative thoughts and negative comments, people started, you know, unaliving themselves. And then we start seeing a switch, because when, you know, it hit close to home when people started doing it. So it's like, yo, we're going to start sharing more light and more energy. And again, there's nothing wrong with calling out the foolishness, and there's nothing wrong with keeping people accountable and having shame. But too far in between, we shout out something positive and something dope. So, you know, I agree with you on that, my brother. Poor, is it Joshua Ward or nickname Garito? I'm not sure. I'm gonna look that up. Let me see if I can find Joshua Ward, rapper. I don't know if that's him. But you gave me a something to work with though on Gudetaro. You gave me something to work with to look him up though, because like I said, I'm about, you know, that positive energy, and you know, too far in between. We give that. Okay, so you gave me some names to look up. I'm gonna tap into so I got them in my system to look up a little later. Something popped up. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next one. Send in the turkey or non. Type in T or type in N to send in the turkey or non. Miami Zoo. The Miami Zoo has built an underwater tunnel where you can see alligators. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Type in T to send the Miami Zoo to Turkey or non for building an underwater tunnel that was made for the viewers to go in to see the alligators in their habitat. Again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Shout out to Shanton in the building. Get your okay. Oh, you talking the artist, right? I think something popped up with that name. Hold on. Suited. No, that's not him. That's not him. I'm looking at the guy face now. That's not him. He got a guitar. Yeah, nah, that's not him. Cause I'm seeing I typed in that name. That's not him. Yeah, the guy got dreads. I think he wears like glasses or something like that or shades, but that's not him. But yeah. Oh hell no. Shout out to Ebony, one of them badge holders in the building. We got them badge holders in the building. And again, if you don't have your badges, different access, different badges, or different badges got granted different access. So make sure you tap into the membership portion of the page as well. But yeah, so are we sending the Miami Zoo to Turkey because they built an underwater tunnel so that way the viewers can see the alligators? Me personally, I'm gonna send them to Turkey. Like I get the whole underwater experience, but I don't need it that bad, bro. I'm cool. I'm cool. I'm cool. And I know these tunnels are built out of like unbreakable material, but we're talking about forces of nature. Alligators are somewhat of dinosaurs. They are strong, strong. They are a force of nature. I'm not trusting it. I'm not trusting it. And I'm pretty sure nothing would ever happen for real. Because if something did, the Miami Zoo would become like they just handing out checks. It's a license to print money for anybody that gets hurt in that situation. I think the experience is kind of dope if you can do it, but me, I'm not signing up for that. I'm agreeing with Ebony in the chat. I'm not signing up for that. I'm not signing up for that. I'm not going into no underwater tunnel to see the alligators better. I'm cool. I'm cool. When I go to the zoo, when I go to Disney Zoo, which they got one of the best zoos I've ever seen in my life, they got alligators. But they got alligators in the proper distance that it needs to be. And for me, I'm cool. I'm all the way cool. People don't realize like alligators, they're like real predators. They will act like they asleep just so you can get close enough to them so they can bite that ass. Yes, they like that. I remember one of the last trips I've ever took with my mother. We went to Disney Animal Kingdom. And she said, that alligator is not alive. I said, Ma, that gator is alive. And she was like, how you know? I said, because I know. I didn't want to say, it takes an animal to catch an animal, you know what I'm saying? But I had that thought in my process, you know what I'm saying? Like, he alive. And he winked his eye, be like, you better tell her, you know what I'm saying? I'm kind of hungry. So again, they would act like they're not like alive or they're still very still just for you to get close to them. In winter states, with there's places where there's winter, they actually would live underwater. Under like when it gets frosty enough, they'll poke their head up enough just to breathe, and they will stay right there until it gets warm again. These are real predators. So I'm cool on the alligators. I don't know why the Miami Zoo think it was cool to build something like this. I'm cool. I'm cool. You feel me? I'm cool. Shout out to the chat. Nope, I'll pass also. I'm gonna go on that. I'm from the South. I'm good. Yo, you do it for both of us, bro. Pause. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can hold that down. Shout out to Dope in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. Vic in the building. Appreciate Vic tapping in the building, man. Uh, I usually dream about these animals, and they are cold-blooded animals. They cannot be domesticated. That's a fact, bro. That's a fact. That's a fact. So I'm cool on the underwater tunnel. I'm cool. And they probably got some OD big, like the craziest alligator you ever seen in your life in at the Miami Zoo. I'm pretty sure that's what's going on. I'm cool. I'm cool. Feel me? Uh, Shout out. That's it. That's a fact. That's it. There's too many hunger. Trying to tell you, man. I'm not messing with it. I'm not messing with it, Vic. I'm not messing with it. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next segment. Y'all already know what time it is. It's time to rap. This segment is brought to you by Button Snaps, where you get the finest of movies, shows, documentary, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, it's Button Snaps. That's the word button, hyphenated sign, snaps.com. That's the word button, hyphenated sign, and the word snaps.com. First hot topic of the night. Georgia State football player Tyler Scott was caught on camera snatching an Ole Miss player's chain pregame and throwing it into the crowd. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, a Georgia State football player, Tyler Scott, was caught on video, on camera, snatching another player's chain on Ole Miss University and throwing it into the crowd. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Me personally, I think he just forfeited his season. I think he just did that. One thing I love about college football is the rivalry. I love the fact that everybody takes it to heart that, yo, we beefing with this school, right? But there's a competitive rivalry. There's not a criminal rivalry that should be going on. There's no criminals here. And if you don't want to be treated as one, you don't act as one. I know things do get rowdy. I know about rivalries. My team is Michigan, and our rivalry is Ohio. And trust me, it get a little rowdy sometimes. But we gotta understand that competitive and collegiate behavior is different from criminal behavior. This is criminal behavior. Do he deserve to go to jail? I mean, he has to pay some sort of penalty. Going to jail or doing prison time, no. But going to jail, I mean, paying a hefty fine, I think, would be more suitable than actually going to jail. Him paying the full value for the chain that he ripped off, yeah, that is more than suitable, and for him to be suspended for the rest of the season. Again, having competitive energy is different from criminal energy. So let's match that. You took his chain because y'all was into it. Okay, now you have to pay the fine. You have to pay the fine, and you have to pay equal value for that young man's chain, regardless of what it was. Regardless if it was based in rivalry or not. Y'all not on the field as they was playing. This was pregame. So you can't have that type of energy and thinking it's okay to take things off of each other, not just pregame, but even during the game. But again, that's not the place for that. You're a football player. In our eyes, in the world's eyes, football players are treated as such, treated accordingly. Athletes are treated accordingly. And if you don't want people to see you as a criminal, don't act like one. So again, I think he should pay the equal value of the chain that was lost and that he ripped off of this player, and he should be suspended for the rest of the season. That is my thoughts on it personally. In the chat, respect the property of others. That's a fact. Shout out to Vic. Liability, restitution. Dude got to learn to control his emotions. That's a fact. That is a fact. Assault to still on teammates. That's a fact. See, and again, I played sports. I played, all the way from my little league years all the way to college. And again, it's nothing like having that uniform on, right? You have your band of brothers with you, and y'all walk into that stadium. The crowd is going crazy. The energy that flows through you, you really feel like you got superpowers. And once the whistle blow, it is controlled war. But we have to be mindful of what we do and how we do it. That's not criminal. So I agree with y'all what y'all saying in the chat, because again, that has nothing to do with the game. You're taking it too far. So that's the limit. So that's what I believe that should be his penalty. In my opinion, I don't think jail time would be significant or satisfactory to that particular crime, because it is a crime. There's a low level of theft to it. Y'all said it in the chat as well. And I believe in that format, in that forum, he should pay the fine or pay the value of the chain that was lost. So that's my opinion on that. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next Moving on to our next hot topic. There's a man sentenced to life, Lawrence Doherty. He was sentenced to life in prison for the fatal shooting of former Orlando Magic basketball player Adrian Payne. Lawrence Doherty is 31 years old, and this was a situation where he was having a bad situation with his ex-wife or girlfriend. His ex-wife or girlfriend happens to be friends with Adrian Payne's wife or girlfriend. I'm not sure of the relations, but they're close friends. She was suited to go over there. Of course, Adrian went with her, and they had an altercation, and he unalived them. This one is kind of tricky because at the end of the day, somebody's life was lost. And most times when people get life, they're in a situation where somebody didn't have to lose their life. But also, and I must say this, fellas, and I know we got some ladies in the chat, but this is not necessarily against the ladies, right? This is more so learning how to pick and fight your own battles. You don't fight other people's battles. And I spoke about this prior to, based on this particular case, right? But they didn't have the final judgment at that particular time. And what I mean is this. Adrian Payne should have minded his business. Adrian Payne should have minded his business. He should have told his woman, whether his wife or girlfriend, to call the police. Let the authorities handle their situation. That's what he should have done. Regardless on what he was doing to his wife or his girlfriend. That issue is for the police. It's for the authorities. If a man is having issues with his woman and another man says, yo, if you put your hands on her again, if you do this, if you do that, I'm going to step in and be the hero, or I'm going to restrain you. So now it's man on man. Adrian Payne was 6'9", 6'10". Was it right for him to get shot? Of course not. Not advocating for that. Not at all. I believe man on man, you use your hands, bro. You use your hands, man to man. But in this particular situation, emotions are being riled up. Emotions is moving 1,000 a minute. And that's not an excuse, but you have to understand situations. And if you had never been in a situation, then you don't understand what I'm talking about. Emotions do fly, especially when you're dealing with your manhood being challenged man to man. And that's why you have a lot of people out here with guns, because some men know physically they can't do it. So they not gonna get beat on. So they're gonna have something that they feel can be even. So we have to understand that. That is a factor. Obviously, it's a factor, right? He should have called the authorities and let the authorities handle their situation, their nonsense. Because, I'm saying this with all due respect, if you would ask Adrian's Payne's family right now, they probably would have hoped that he would have made that decision. And I'm not saying that distastefully. I'm saying that they would rather have him here. They would rather have him here and to call the authorities for their situation, opposed to going over there and for dude to fight the fair fight. No, people out here is not fighting fair. And if we know that, if we have that in the back of our mind, and you going through something and you see 6'9", 6'10", and he gonna say something, you gonna say something, something is gonna get done. And we have to stop negating and neglecting that we all have a part to play in this. And minding our business is a part to play. And saying, you know what? I'm not gonna walk away, but I'm not stepping up. The authorities got license to do that. The authorities have a way to get over there to diffuse the situation and nobody walk away with a loss of life. And now I'm pretty sure Adrian Payne has children and they missing a dad, and his wife or a girlfriend is missing her husband or boyfriend. They would rather have him here. So learn how to mind your business and pick up the phone and call the authorities. This is what they get paid to do. And some of them get paid amazingly well, might I add. Let them do their damn job. Let them do their job. Simple and plain. Let me check out the chat real quick. Remember Lawrence Phillips? Yes, I do. I remember Lawrence Phillips from Nebraska, the running back from Nebraska, and was on the Rams. Opinion on, shout out to Shane. Appreciate Shane in the building. I support the LGBT community. That's what that's what the chat is saying. But the LGBT got nothing to do about this subject. Shout out to Dope by Strangers. Yes, absolutely. How about them Cowboys? Shout out to Vic. That's law. Because shout out to Paul, because sad if he would have mind his business, and after told his family about the situation, they would have said, I'm glad you walked away, because she probably was going to go back with him. Paul, you get it. You hit it right on the head. I had a situation with a cousin, and I think I said this on the chat, with a cousin of mine she was going through something. And when I stepped up and put him down, my cousin turned on me. Had the police trying to have me all the way locked up. And I had a couple of little ladies back in the day. So I'm able to speak about it now, freely now, and not be tied emotionally like how I used to be. Like, yo, I can't believe this is supposed to be family. And she ended up right back with him. The fact that he thought he could pull that in front of me, though, it was like, whoa. I'm much lighter than what I used to be at the time of what happened. I was about 230, 232 at the time. So, you know what I'm saying? College running back type of style. And he thought he could pull that in front of me. He thought we was that cool. It was like, whoa. I didn't even have... Anyway, so again, that situation could have been bad, and he could have pulled out a gun. And I could have lost my life. And my family would have been like, yo, why didn't you mind your business? My father, see that man in the background, he's perfect for saying that. Why didn't you mind your business? That wasn't your business to step into. Call the cops. What are you doing? Because now, if your daughter is raised without a dad, then what? Now, me and your mom, we lost another son. Then what? So again, we have to learn how to mind our business or learn how to interject the authorities. They are the authorities for a reason. They get paid for this. Let them do their job. So again, I say with all sincerity, rest in peace to Adrian Payne. And again, it's sad that how this situation materialized, because I'm pretty sure his family would rather for him to walk away and deal with it the way that I'm suggesting. And I say that with all sincerity. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. Drake, the rapper Drake, has been found to be the most streamed rapper from 2015 to 2024. Does this make him the best rapper in that era, or in this era? Because it's the same era. So does that make him the best rapper in this era? Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Shout out to Isaac in the building. Appreciate you for tapping in. Isaac is new. Again, it's Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast. Everybody pulls up, show that love. We talk about everything, and I'm your host, Ashley Lovechild. Hit them likes, hit the 100s. Helps with the growth of the show, but we appreciate you being here. Share some love, energy into the chat, and it's always welcome, my brother. Yes. Okay, Paul said yes. Paul says yes. Okay. I wonder if anybody else feel that way. Drake being the most streamed artist from 2015 to 2014, does that make him the best in this era? Based on the most streamed, yes. Based on the most streamed, yeah. Drake put a lot of rappers on. Okay, dope. Yes. No. Okay. So majority of y'all said yes. Some people said yes or no, but majority of y'all said yes. Majority of y'all said yes. Me personally, no, it don't make you the best. It don't. Because rap is also a skill. And we have to be very mindful that he can rap, but he also had help. And I'm not saying anything from my purview or feelings. I'm saying what's real. He has writers. So that matters. Secondly, he's going through a situation right now with his label, the parent label, about the use of streaming and how that it benefited somebody else and not him. And it benefited somebody else in a way where it was a direct correlation to him. It was a song about him, and he felt like they had a dealing that bots helped the situation with Kendrick on being the most streamed and the most active. So how can a company that you've been a part of all these years, been the most streamed, now all of a sudden they got bots? Now all of a sudden it doesn't work. Now it's not cool because it didn't work in your favor. So how do we not know this about 2015, 2000 to 2024? How do we not know this is not a contributing factor? I wouldn't say it's the main factor, because me personally, I think Drake makes really great music. Am I a fan? Can I appreciate his music and his contribution? Absolutely. I ain't no hater. I'm no hater. But there is a question that needs to be asked regarding this. When you sell the most records, do that make you the best? It is a factor, but the skill of rap, when you have a collection of a collection of writers, I like, me personally, when you have writers and you're a rapper, for me, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. I'm just saying, this is me. So, I mean, at the end of the day, is Drake gonna go down as being one of the best rappers ever? Yes, hands down, he is. He will be. As far as the eyes of the commercialism. But when it comes down to the eyes of rap and rappers, no, he's not. Any conversation with guys who rap, who are lyricists, did not put in Drake in any type of conversation, mainly because he had writers. Anytime somebody hear writers, it's like, yo, yeah, you kind of cheating, bro. Like, what are we talking about? One of the main reasons why R. Kelly is the dude when it comes to R&B. Some people say Michael Jackson. I don't count Michael Jackson because he's not R&B. He's pop. He's the king of pop. So how can he be the king of pop and be the king of R&B? Don't make sense. He's the king of pop. But R. Kelly wrote for Michael Jackson. And R. Kelly wrote all his shit. Like, so when it comes to rap, is Drake one of the best artists we've ever seen? Yes. As a package, yes. Pause. Great music. The girls liked him. And he always had hits. He always had catchy songs. There's no diss to that. But when we talk about lyrics and lyricism and rap, no. No. No diss. No. He got put through rap skills, not saying that he could write, but he can for sure rap. I'm not saying he can't rap. I don't want people to think that I'm just because I'm saying he's not in the top conversation of lyricists that I'm saying he can't rap. When you have writers, you can still have a skill. When you have writers, that doesn't mean you can't sing. Whitney Houston had writers, but she could sing her ass off, right? So that doesn't say that she's not a great artist, but rap is a little different where rap is your thoughts, your energy, right? Rap and being a lyricist is predicated on you writing your own thoughts and making your own thoughts popular, not saying something that somebody else came up with. So, shout out based on rappers' peers. Okay. Ghostwriters, yeah. Stealing, clout. Shout out to I Don't Know. Appreciate you tapping to hit them likes at the 100s. Bars, lyrics, punchlines, metaphors, comedy. All of that matters. All of that matters. So again, all due respect, if they put out a top 100 of Drake, right? I mean, top 100 of rappers. If Drake is in the top 10, I'm not arguing with nobody for that because overall he has a place to be in the top 10. Obviously, top 20, top 30, if they say he's in that, okay, I get it. That like, even if somebody say he's like in their top 5, right? That's a bit of an argument for me, but I'm not gonna sit there and be like, what? Because there's so many things that Drake has accomplished that other artists and rappers haven't. So that goes to his jacket. I will say that. See, I'm being very fair when it comes to this. This is no bias. This is no hate. I don't hate on nobody. I have no reason to hate on this man at all, because I can go. But to keep things very fair, he accomplished a lot of things that a lot of rappers haven't accomplished. So that matters too. But when it comes to the skill of rap, if you say he's in your top 10, okay, but if you're telling me that he's like your top 5, I don't really argue people's stuff down, to be honest with you, because music is preference based. But it's like, okay, like, all right, but to me it's not super valid, but okay. I'm not gonna go back and forth because music is, again, you know, how you feel and how people put it out. I said it before. There's people in this world, and I say this with all due respect, that think Pitbull is the best rapper or one of the best rappers based on the type of music that he does. And the reason why I say Pitbull is because music is a preference. So it's no diss. It's just a preference. He's top 20. Again, if you got him in top 10, top 20, just listening to your list, and be like, oh, okay, cool. If you're saying he's like the top 5, top 3, like, again, your list, and I'm like, okay, I can't take it serious, but cool. When it comes to the art of rap. So yeah. Top 10, some people saying top 10. Okay. Like I said, he's accomplished a lot. Drake has skill rapping, but your own lyrics matters, bro. It matters. It matters. Having a team of people, that shit matters. I'm just saying. So I'm glad we had that debate. That was a fire debate. I love that. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic. Um, Brooklyn Nets, Brooklyn Nets star Michael Porter Jr. Said no disrespect to the question if the WNBA Olympic team was to play against the All-American, high school All-American team, and especially the year he played. He kept responding, no disrespect, because they kept asking him, like, what would happen in the game? And his way of saying that, we would pretty much destroy them, he kept saying, no disrespect, no disrespect. He had mentioned that the guys that he was in the All-American with, the year of his senior year, or the All-American year, was Trae Young, DeAndre Ayton, Gary Trent Jr., and P.J. Washington. Um, I'm just saying, like, those guys at that time, it would probably get ugly against the WNBA Olympic team. And the reason why this is even a conversation is because, again, it's coming up. It has came up too many times in the realm of sports and how sports and which sport is more important and which one is more validated and this, that, and the third, right? And the players is not saying it in disrespect to the women. It's just understanding the hierarchy of the sport. That's all, and where it all falls. So some people believe that if you take the women's Olympic team, mind you, these are grown women, and they played against high school All-Americans, some people would feel like they're not losing by a lot. That's how they feel. Why not just play the game? The women have nothing to lose. The guys have nothing to lose. It'll be great entertainment. They've had the battle of the sexes in the past before, where they had a top tier tennis player play men versus women, and the woman won, bust his ass. So why not have something of this magnitude? We're not saying the WNBA should play the NBA. That wouldn't be fair. We're not saying that the WNBA should play against the college guys. That wouldn't be fair. So the WNBA play against the top tier of high school players. And these are All-Americans. All-American, majority of the All-Americans, they go to the NBA. So this would be great competition. This would be a great interest piece. And there's no real bragging right to this, to be honest with you. This is just sheer entertainment. All the entertainment can't be taken so serious where we get mad at each other because we have a damn observation or opinion. Especially when it's done in a fun manner. I think this would bring back All-Star Week, because All-Star Week been trash. And if they bring back 1v1, the high school guys versus the WNBA girls, I think All-Star game will be a hit. All-Star Weekend will be a hit. I think it will be a hit. Everybody and their mother will watch that. People wouldn't even care that the dunk contest is trash. So me personally, I would love to see that game being played during All-Star Weekend, and I think it will work. I think it will be super entertainment. She's in the lead. Okay, skills. Okay, WNBA Olympic team will lose. The men are stronger, faster, even high school kids. I will agree to that. I will agree to that. I don't think the ladies would do it. I don't think the ladies would do it, because if they lose, they felt like they lost something, because they lost to high school kids. So they would feel like they would lose something. But in the eyes of the viewership, they wouldn't lose anything if they lose. It just confirms to what people already thought. And if you won, most people still not going to think otherwise anyway. Just because that one tennis player beat that one man, most people think men tennis players are better than women tennis players. So you have nothing to lose. And everything to gain when it comes to the entertainment. And you can make you a bag just off the entertainment value alone. So I think it will be a fun thing to do. Me personally, I think it will be a fun thing to do. I agree with you until high school kids. I agree with you up until high school kids. Okay? So you would want them to play against the college guys? That's interesting. I agree with it if you could create profits. That's what I'm saying. Like, because like I don't want to keep regurgitating. There's nothing to lose on the women's side. There's all positives. Everybody can make a bag. Everybody that plays in this game, yo, y'all gonna make 100,000 or something like that because the NBA got that type of money. Okay, and then on top of it, the interest it would be on social media for damn near a whole like 6 months. The interest will go crazy, and it'll be a fun thing to watch. And it could be competitive, but it'll be a fun thing to watch. And nobody's losing. This is not like battle rap where if you lose or you're not as nice as him. It's like, nah, this is really for entertainment, but play your best because, you know, you will get boogied on. Shout out to Patrick. I think the sport of car racing is the only sport men and women are equal. Okay, okay, racing has an even playing field. Okay, okay. I mean, again, this is not necessarily man versus woman for real. This is based on what people been talking about in the interest level of the entertainment. Because WNBA All-Star Weekend was trash. NBA All-Star Weekend was trash. They could save it by doing things that would be fun to do and that have interest. More people want to see a 1v1. Run it. We want to see the 1v1s, and if they had the battle of the sexes, WNBA players versus the high school All-Americans, everybody and their mother will watch it. It will get damn near Super Bowl ratings, in my opinion. I really believe that. Positive exposure. I really believe that. I really do. I really do. I don't want to keep regurgitating. I really, really do. That's a fact. Uh, handicap. I agree. They do have to come up with a better operations for All-Star Week. All-Star Weekends it's a drag. It's no fun. Like I find more of a value in the All-Star Weekend watching the 3-point contest and like the celebrity basketball game, seeing who can't really play for real and who can. That's funny. They can barely dribble or shoot or something like that. That's funny to me. But again, the interest will go through the roof, and it will be a great game to watch. Right? Y'all show y'all skills, they show their skills, and it'll just be a great game to watch. And there's no real thing to lose because people already think away anyway. So why not just give the people what they want, make your money, make your money, and this is good money. This is not that thing was like all money ain't good money. This is good money right here. This is extreme exposure, extreme exposure. You know, so I think this would be a great idea. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic. Is having a 9 to 5 a myth? Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Is having a 9 to 5 a myth? Studies have showed that it revealed that over 61% of all workers believe that having a 9 to 5 is a myth. 72% of Gen Zers believe the same as well. 72%. 72%, y'all. Now, 42% of that 100 already have second jobs or side job. And fewer workers aren't interested in even taking leadership roles due to office politics and burning out on the job. And mainly people from 18 to 29 is the highest affected mentally in this equation as well. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. I thought that was super interesting. Shout out to Dope. I'm not gonna read that last comment. Shout out to Dope though. But yeah, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Is having a 9 to 5 a myth? What I do love about this is that it's forcing the workspace and the workforce to come up with real competitive wages. There are some jobs that will be lost completely due to AI. I will say that. That's happening regardless. Whether we say 5 years, 10 years, that's happening regardless. AI was made to replace work or people at work. Yes, that's a fact. And because some jobs in some spaces, what it take for humans to do it, people no longer value it. So when something loses its value, then you have things to do it without people doing it, right? But there's other businesses and other jobs that's still going to need people. So I'm glad in those spaces is forcing the workforce to come up with competitive working wages. And what that means is you're not working 2 or 3 jobs no more. So if you get a real working wage, a real, real finances that you can actually work one place, work 40 hours, get vacation, pay all your bills with one check, still have money to save, I think that would change the face of what people look at as work. Majority of these people is looking at work in this type of ilk is because if you got to get 2 and 3 jobs and you're basically killing yourself to work this job, then people want to say, you know what really needs to go? These expenses. Which one of these expenses I could live without? I need me a place. Okay, so I'm on the hook for that amount. If I'm in certain cities, I need me a car, or no, the bus would do just fine, or the train would do just fine. This is how much money I got allocated to my food and other bills. I'm cool with this. So I don't need to work 40 hours a week. I could work the 30. So if people's already thinking on that time because of office politics and being burnt out and that the money is just not matching, then we're going to continue to have a situation like this. So if they have competitive wages, most people crash out and burn mainly because they're not making enough money or they have to go here and here to make up the money. So I believe if with this situation, it forces the workforce to come up with competitive jobs that we still need people in. Let me take a look at the chat. I do work more than five. I do work more than hits 5 p.m. Then leave the job. I like to stay and finish things. Okay, fire. Okay, focus on the work. No more BS. Robots are replacing bus drivers, firemen, garbage truck drivers, etc. It wins. It wins. I wasn't ready for that, Vic. I wasn't ready. No, that was dope. I wasn't ready for that dope. If it wins, it wins. Like Ivan Drago, if he dies, he dies. Uh, in California, fast food employees make $20 an hour. Uh, dope just said, just focusing on my art. Nothing wrong with that. Uh, the Mexican, they make 20 an hour, but they barely get hours. In California, it's very expensive. So $20 an hour in California, that's still working poor. And but see, this is what I'm talking about, right? So instead of paying $20 an hour, what if they made $65 an hour? And $65 an hour is the going rate for people to work one job and to be able to take care of their bills and to be able to do all the things that it takes for us to be balanced. People need to go on vacation, scheduled vacations, having something to look forward to. The work productivity will go up even higher when people have something to look forward to. If people constantly working, constantly hitting that grind, hitting their head on the wall, they're going to have a breaking point and they're going to leave altogether. So the workforce is being forced to really address these needs and matters because if you have millennials, I remember when I was in my 20s and my mom said, yo, y'all millennials is different. They did a study where y'all don't even care if y'all work or not. Y'all just want to work enough hours to pay bills, go on vacation, and have a little savings account. Y'all don't even want all the money on for real. And I'm like, damn, man, like, I don't know where you got that study from, but yo, you right. Like, that's what my mind is at. It's like, yeah, I ain't trying to go hand me. I'm just, what? How much these bills? All right, I got that for the bills. How much I need for the, yeah. And we more focused on creating memories with our family and our loved ones, right? But now you have the newer era with the Gen Zs. They like, yeah, nah, B. Nah. And again, I love a part of it is because creating different and efficient ways to make your money from home or from your own personal office and job, where you don't have to go through office politics, you don't have to go through office strain on, people clocking you, what time you done checked in, and this, that, and the third. All of that could be pulled into your mentality, into your mindset, and it could create a strainful work environment. And now that you're hearing people don't even want the management position no more. Before, people wanted the management position no more. People don't even want the management position no more. So it goes to show that people, if you're losing people that even want to work, you're going to have more jobs available. It's like, yo, come work this job. Yo, I need somebody to work this job. Like, nah, B. Like with the vacation, with the package, it look like, pause. How do I get real balance if I work this job? Do I need to work a second job if I get this job? So we really reconstructing on how this money is being made, and AI was going to replace certain jobs anyway. So I love this finding and studies based on this data, and I hope that within the next 5 to 10 years, it's going to create more ways for people to make their money and to spend time with their family and still work one damn job and not have several hustles. Shout out to Vic, 38 and up, doing 3 for 1s, creating something that will last forever on earth. That's fire. That's fire, and that's a fact. I missed somebody else on that. Is that Vic? I think I missed Vic comment. Vic, a studio apartment is 2K, 65. Yeah, that's a fact. So if a studio apartment is 2K in certain states, then can you imagine what the cost of living is? Everybody don't want to move to Kansas. For y'all don't know, Kansas has the lowest cost of medium in rent. Like the average rent per medium in the state of Kansas, I believe, is like $650, $700, and that's for like a 2 bedroom or 1 or 2 bedroom or whatever the case may be. Everybody don't want to live in Kansas, bro. Everybody don't want to live in Kansas. So again, but even in Kansas, even if their rent is so low, imagine what the cost of living and what the workers get paid in their hourly rate in Kansas. Can you imagine? So, I'm like I said, I'm glad that we're forcing the workforce to come up with more advantageous ways to keep people in the building who is qualified and that could work these jobs and work one job instead of thousands just to, get their money on up. Shout out to Paul. Then it may have the lowest pay rate. That's what. Yeah, I just when you type that in, I had just said that. Yes, it's populated. That's a fact. Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. So y'all get where I'm going with this. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it's forcing the workforce to really look at this issue because it is an issue. Don't let them fool you. They want people to work. They want people to work. Everything can't be built off of AI. It needs a human's touch. So again, I love the fact that that this is happening. All right, y'all, moving on to my next hot topic. 6 female correction officers are charged with illegal strip searches in their situation. They're looking at penalties, fines, and time in jail. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. This is crazy. I mean, at the end of the day, for me, people in these situations, like we hear in too many instances where people are abusing their power. It's like you need somebody to watch the watchers because that's their job, is to watch. So you have to have somebody to watch the watchers because they're abusing their power in these type of situations where people are coming up to see their loved ones that's in prison, jail, or in county. And most people don't know what they have to do to see them, what they have to do strip searches or a strenuous thing where they have to basically see their body. There was instances where they strip search a one lady where they had to see her front and her back, and and I'm pretty sure if you're forced into that situation, that has to be very humiliating for a random person just to see you like that. So at the end of the day, they're abusing their power, and by the time they get caught for it. So I mean, they're in court now, and if they are guilty of all these charges, I hope they get all that energy that's coming to them, because they put a lot of pain and a lot of horror in a lot of people just wanting to come up to check on their loved one and see how they doing behind bars. So I mean, in that instance, they deserve to be punished. Shout out to Dope Body Cavities, Coffin Squad. But yeah, it's just one of those things where people don't look at themselves. They don't look at other people as human beings, and they look at other people as just like this is just my job or whatever. But there's a difference between doing your job and abusing it. And if you was doing your job, you would not be up for trial right now. Simple and plain. Simple and plain. So I'm gonna keep track of this story because the story is still ongoing, and like I said, they up for trial as of right now. All right, y'all. Moving on to my next hot topic. The University of Kansas has received a $300 million gift from a donor, David Booth, for the athletic program. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. We talk about sports a lot here, and the use of sports, the use of money in sports. College football is probably the most lucrative business that you can have in this country. What I mean by that is this: if you have a company or a business, invest in college football, hence NILs, because you can use your brand to benefit your brand, and you can make the money back tenfold. Then you have individuals and companies who's doing it on a whole nother level, like $300 million for the program. Because let's keep it real. When you go to these programs and these schools, it looks massive. It looks crazy. Personalized chairs as far as your locker room chair. Everything is ingrained. You got sponsorships all over the place, new gym, you got a chef, you got a barber, you got everything in these facilities. And I'm not saying that the players don't deserve the facility. Have a great facility, but give that money to the players. Give it to the players. They the ones earning it. The school is just a system of where they get it. It's a license to printing money. So now if they build the school up even more, they could charge a couple more dollars on the tickets, charge a couple more dollars on the parking, charge a couple more dollars on the merchandise, and so on and so forth. While the people that's attracting the money the most not getting majority of the money. I'm glad they're making some money, but at the end of the day, it's like, all right, if you're going to do that, why not the players being divvied some of this money? So it's amazing that it goes to the structure of the school, where it's a school. You would think the school's already tapped in to pieces of the land where all they have to do is build it on their own. You would think that some schools have their own construction companies where they could just come and just build stuff. I mean, that would make the most sense, correct? So them getting this type of money, 300 million is next level money. 300 million just for the program in itself. So again, I'm not mad at it. Again, I love football. I grew up playing football. But why the players is not touching some of this money? These facilities, like you said in the chat, is world class. World class facilities. That's cool. That's what's up. That's what's up. I got bills that could be paid better than having the top notch, screen in my locker. Give me the basic screen and I'll take the rest of the money. How about them apples? I'm just saying. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And you wonder, like, what do some of these people do that got this type of money? 300 million, 500 million to give, which is even more interesting. I don't like telling people what to do with their money, but damn, like we have so many people who are really needing and like undeserved, like don't have it, don't have the means to get it. If you gave 100,000 to each family worth 300 million, you know how many lives that would change? You know how many lives that would change immediately, opposed to the school that already has money, that's going to make money? I'm just saying. College players being cut out, that's a fact. Right, tangible, cash, it's owners versus employee type of situation, broker versus real estate agent type of situation. If you know what I'm saying, you have to really own it to get it. Facts. Family, that's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. Again, as much money, you gotta remember, y'all, we in 2025. We in 2025. These schools, these football programs have been around for ages. Ages. Since the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, they've been around for ages. Making all types of money, and nobody even thought of the money at the time. They was just giving out hot scholarships. Yeah, come get 3 hots in the cot and free education. It ain't free. I already paid for it. I paid for my education in one weekend when I looked up in the damn stands and it was over 80,000 people in the stands. And I'm up for a Heisman. School didn't give me nothing. I paid for this weekend. I paid for my scholarship this weekend. They could go into the school store and buy my jersey, and I don't get nothing out of it. But 3 hots in the cot in the education, man, please run that money on. So again, they distribute the money in the wrong way, in my opinion. It's the system, Illuminati. I don't know if it's the Illuminati, but it's definitely the system. It's definitely the way how the corporate structure have built. And the crazy thing is, they're trying to put a cap on what the players make in NIL money. And now the schools have to start paying the kids. So now the kids will start getting NIL and the money from the school. And now school is trying to put a cap on NIL. And if they put a cap on NIL, they're going to put a cap on what they give to the players. And they're making all that money on. All that money on. Which is crazy. Which is crazy. I don't mind people making a whole bunch of money on. I'm all for it. But they're not. They're making peanuts while the people who's advocating, they're making all the money on. See what I'm saying? So that's why I think the problem lies. All right, y'all, moving on to my next hot topic. In China, in China, you can build a concrete house for only $3,000, which is crazy. If y'all know about concrete and what it takes to get concrete on American soil, on your home, on your property, y'all know what I'm talking about. So you can build a concrete house, not the driveway, the house, whole house, for $3,000. It only takes up to 2 days to even move into this house. But this is how they do it. It's called prefab construction, where everything is made in the factory, including the walls, the floor, and the staircases. They also ship it to the site, and then they put it together in a lift from the crane, and they put it in place, and it results to being stronger, faster built, and cheaper all in itself, because you hear people paying up to $300,000, $400,000 for a brand new house that's worth having a house. So again, cheaper, stronger, faster, and more durable. as far as your house. And it's concrete, it's earthquake ready. You know what I mean? Like, meaning like if there's earthquake, it absorbs the earthquake better than any other house that you could think could be made. What do y'all think about that in the chat? Totally different concrete. Shout out to Ron in the building. Appreciate you tapping and hit them likes, hit the 100s. More efficient, yes. Nothing in China is stronger. Okay. On course, less, yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. There's an ingenuity that we have to account for that China is doing. That cannot be overlooked. Regardless on what you feel, the efficiency and how it's being built, that matters. That matters. We don't get nowhere the amount of earthquakes that China gets. If you live in certain areas of the US, yeah, you get an earthquake here or there. Yeah. I remember living in New York City back in, well, you know, I'm from Brooklyn, but the only earthquake I've ever experienced in Brooklyn was probably 2013, 2014, where they said it was like an earthquake or a tremor that came from DC, and I felt it all the way in Brooklyn, and that was kind of scary. So again, when you got other places in the US where place like Florida is flatly built, nothing is built underwater, or nothing is built like in New York City, there's a lot of like basements and stuff like that. In Florida, there's no basements. For you to have a basement, it has to be built higher, so that way you could go down like that, like boat level, right? So a lot of places in Florida is like one floor ranches. A lot of places in Texas, close to California, they have a lot of one floor ranches. So I think this can be done. Whether like anytime they have the ingenuity to do this, and all you telling me that we have to make a stronger ingredient to make it stronger, and let's say paying 3,000, okay, you pay 3,500 or 4,000 per, okay, more people would do it. A stronger home, more durable, cheaper to build, and faster to move in. How quick do the average home being built from scratch take on U.S. soil using a full construction team? It takes months. So imagine if you could do this in days. May not be the 2 days. 2 days may sound a little sexy. All right, you being here for 2 days. Nah, all right, a whole week. Let's say 7 to 10 days. That's still better than months down the road. And it being a whole lot cheaper and having the better product that it has. In the US, we just charge more for stuff, bro. We just charge more for stuff just cause. Just cause we do it. Not because the product and the material is better. It's just cause. If you have a certain car in the US, they charge you more just cause. You like, yo, bro, this part costs this. It doesn't cost that. Oh, yeah, but we got special mechanics. So, nah. Charge me for the part or I'm going somewhere else. Oh, but we got it. All right, so I bet, we'll do like a little, little discount for. So now you got a discount for me. If I wouldn't have said discount, you wouldn't have gave me the discount. This is the type of place the U.S. is. Even though I love it here, this is my country. But at the end of the day, we got to know how to be able to bargain and know what is what. Just because it's not U.S. doesn't mean it's not always the best or always the strongest. So we can't use that. We can't use that. Mercedes tires 500, 500 for one. That is a fact. That is a fact. Pull up. That is a fact. I went through a situation with my whip, and I happened to drive a Mercedes, and I'm like, yo, they hand me a sheet. I'm like, yo, I already paid my rent, bro. Here, they like, yeah, that ain't rent. That's what you need to do for the car. What? Take this back, B. You better go back there and talk to, the dude. You know what I'm saying? And this is not something that was due to insurance. This is for the service. For the service. And y'all know for the service of the car, you can't do deductibles for the service. This is just the service. So again, we can't be fooled that the U.S. is like, yeah, it costs more because it's better. No, we just charge more just because we can. That's all. That's all we do. We love the money. We love the money. So, never go to the dealer for anything. Damn. Sales, nice style, bro. Appreciate that. 500. Damn, just service. Hand me something like, yo, I ain't looking to pay rent, bro. It, he was like, nah, this is what this service need. I don't know you. Like, I started. Yo, I had the dude laughing because I was hot. Like, what? Like, this shit need what? I'm looking at my whip like, it need what? It's a perfectly used like, it's perfectly I don't bet like, nah, B. I said, good. You talking about the service? Yeah, he was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's the yield, the miles, he's what? Yeah, it was beef. It was beef, but had to do what I had to do. So but yeah, but y'all get the point that I'm making when I use that reference. Stock market variable. Shout out to Dope. Look like King Vaughn. Damn, just the service. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic. College football picks. College football picks. College football picks. I gave y'all some picks from Thursday episode, so y'all can win y'all some money on. I gotta check the score for the last game that I called, because I picked, y'all know how I do it. I pick 6 random games to give y'all to, check out them games and see if y'all like to bet on those games or just just for the sake of the game, So I'm gonna give y'all my pick 6 real quick. I just gotta look up the one last game. Okay, so I went 3 for 3. I went 3 for 3. So my 6 picks, my college football 6 picks, Western Illinois playing number 12 Illinois. I said Illinois will win that game. Illinois won that game. Great game, by the way. Number 2 game I called, number 1 Texas versus Ohio State, number 3 Ohio State. I had Ohio State winning that game. Ohio State won that game. A lot of people thought Arch Manning would go crazy. I thought he would have had a better game than what he had, but I didn't think he was gonna, light it up because Ohio State defense is really good. You got Caleb Downs back there, who's a ball hawk, and is probably one of the best or second best player in all of college football. And then, of course, on the other side, you got Jeremiah Smith. The guy's like an alien, bro. He's super duper nice at receiver. And I didn't see Texas coming into the horseshoe and beating them. Only one team could beat Ohio State at Ohio State. And y'all already know where I'm going with this, right? Y'all already know which team could beat Ohio State at Ohio State. You know what I'm saying? We all know this. It's Michigan, yes. Yes. It's my team, yes. Yes. So just want to point that out for all you Ohio fans that just need a little remembrance, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to y'all. We see y'all about 11 games, I also called, I'm trolling big time, right? I also called Bama versus Florida State. I did go with Bama. I thought Bama would be a better product because the Washington coach that did come from Washington that's now on Bama, I think his name is DeBoer. I think it would look much better than that. I thought it would look much better than that. The only position that I had concern with Bama was the quarterback position. You got Ryan Williams, who's an absolute stud, all-star receiver, top 2 receiver in all college football. He had a terrible game. He dropped 3 open passes where he could have normally do what he normally do. He ended up getting hurt. It was just like a struggle. The Florida State really put it on them. They really played like they wanted to win that game. Even though the game came down to the wire, Florida State really went after that game. But Alabama's quarterback, again, I had questions about that Alabama quarterback position. Outside of Ryan Williams, the quarterback, y'all gonna hear me say this right now. The Alabama quarterback right now, he's going to be a top 10 pick one day. Book it. He's going to be a top 10 pick one day in the NFL draft. Remember that I said this first, because I've said this about numerous of other players from college football at different positions. He's going to be a top 10 pick one day. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. He's a stud. Their new quarterback is a stud. He's a great player. So make sure y'all look out for him. And I believe he's only freshman, sophomore. If I'm not, no, he's a senior. He's been waiting. He's been waiting his turn. So he's a senior. He's a senior. So top 10 pick, top 10 pick, top 10 pick. He is nice. He is nice. And the quarterbacks, to be honest with you, this year, at least in this first game, everybody didn't look impressive like that. He impressed me. He impressed me. His stock went up after this week. I'll tell you that right now. I also called the Ole Miss and Indiana game. Indiana beat Ole Miss badly, by the way. And the LSU game, Clemson game, this is the 5th game. I called Clemson. Clemson lost. They lost by a touchdown at the end. I just thought Clemson was the better team. I thought Dabo Swinney was the better coach. And, I mean, they played at Clemson. So, all signs to Clemson. But they still lost. They lost by a touchdown at the last second or at the end of the game. And they lost. And the last game I called was Notre Dame versus number 6 Notre Dame versus number 10 Miami. I said Notre Dame will win that game. Notre Dame came back and they lost by 3 points. They lost by a field goal. So Notre Dame had lost. So I went 3 for 3. 3 for 3. If you bet it on the right ones, you won you some money on. And if you bet point spread, you won everything on this. If you did the point spread. So Woody plays smart. Alabama. Woody plays smart. UGA. Did I see Georgia play this week? I did see Georgia play. They played today. They played yesterday. They played Marshall. Like, we know what that looks like when they play Marshall. Colorado State. You mean Colorado or Colorado State? Because it's two different ones. Colorado is Coach Prime. Colorado State is the Rams. But if you're talking about that Colorado game versus Georgia Tech, that was so disappointing. Sanders, okay, so yeah, that game was so disappointing. So disappointing. Colorado, fundamentally, I don't know if it's a mind thing because it's not a physical thing. I want to be respectful when I say this because I don't like saying this about football players. And I support Colorado. Like, Michigan is my team. But because Deion is over there, I'm always going to show them love. But their offensive line, they don't have the mentality to take over games. They don't have the mentality to say, yo, I'm going to move you. You're going to get up out of here. We running through here, bro. You got to go. And I'm going to get you up out of here. And these guys are not small individuals. We got 6'5", 300, 6'7", 320, 325. It's 6'6", 315. It's 6'4", 308. There's another 6'6", 320. You should be moving people up out of there. And even though they ran for more yards than they ever have, that's still not indicative in their running game because when they needed a yard, they couldn't get a yard. Georgia Tech was right there. Right there. I think the quarterback that they have, Caden Schulter, has a lot of talent. He's not Shador passing, but he has a lot of a lot of escapability. He can extend a lot of plays. He has to work on his touch. He has power in his throws, but he has to work on his touch. His touch is going to make him way more accurate than what he is. You have some of the most explosive receivers. Like their receiving core is deep, and their receiving core can go. But the quarterback has to be accurate. He has to know when to put a lot, when to put enough, when to run, because his running skills are through the roof. He juked one kid so bad, he sat him down in one spot. The kid, he cut the kid so crazy that the kid just dropped. Like, yo, sit down. So he has a lot of escapability, athletic ability, but he has to work on that touch. He has to work on that touch. And their offensive line have to be able to get people up out of there when they need yards, because they wasn't doing that. And then their defense played so well in the first, like, 3 series. They got 3 turnovers, and they only scored 1 time. But even then, it's still, at the end of the game, those defensive ends have to do a better job on collapsing on the run, because they was getting manhandled. If you're a defensive end and your shoulder pad is getting turned like this, it's over. They hit you with the chicken wing, bro. This is what you look like when the bouncer done put his hands up on you. Like, yeah, you need to get up out of here. So at the end of the day, they need to be tougher against the run. It was really bad against the run, and even the pass coverage wasn't all that great either. So they need to be better. I still had them winning about 8 to 9 games. Originally, I had them winning 10 because Georgia Tech was a part of that 10. So I'm adjusting it to about 8 to 9 games. 8 to 9 games. They still got some ways to go, but Colorado is still a fire place to be at. They got too much talent on their team and the coaching staff to not be better. So that's what I think about Colorado. All right, y'all, moving on to our next segment, our Keep the Lie Live segment. So my Keep the Lie Live for this episode is: be aware of scammers. Be aware of scammers. And I'm not talking about scammers that you obviously see coming. Like, oh yeah, this dude is a scammer. I'm talking about people being scammers in the forms of having certain jobs or make-believe skill that they're scamming you on in order to run your life or help contribute to your life. There are jobs out there where the requirement is literally to take a 3-hour course and pay $200, and all of a sudden they're certified, medical certified, mastery certified, doctorate certified. And these certifications don't benefit the worlds of humanity, but they get to sit down and talk to real people. For instance, like if you had a job such as like, I forget exactly what they called this. I believe they called it, and I don't want to offend anybody, but I got to keep it honest with you because it's going to a bigger point. I think the job is called Simbas or something like that, a Simba facilitator. And what that means is basically you are presenting different ways to save your marriage before it gets to divorce. So there's like an assessment that a facilitator does with these people, and this is what they do to have the fancy name. But the people that's actually doing it, they're not married. They don't come from experience of what they can give in after an assessment. They have their own agenda. These people don't even have their life together. They can't even keep their body together. So you're going to take advice of your life from people that have, one, an agenda, and two, don't even have this shit halfway together. Can't even pay their own bills. Can't even keep their health in check. Don't even have a healthy relationship to speak on to even give you perspective to deal with. Be aware of the scammers, and these scammers come in many different forms, thus and such as I just laid. So be aware of it, because they pop up, and it's just not in those type of jobs. They also people who are medical assistants. And I'm not saying all medical assistants. I'm saying that there are people in these fields that, because people hear the name and then they give their assessment or their so-called opinion based on their knowledge. And it's not based on knowledge, it's grounded in feeling, it's grounded in their own agenda. Because then when you look at their life, you're like, damn, you don't even got your shit together, and you trying to give me advice on how to save my marriage. How many times you been married? Oh, I never been married. Oh, so you just got kids and you not with none of the baby daddies. Oh, okay. That makes a whole lot of sense. You're not going to listen to a banker that doesn't have his own finances in order. You're not going to go to the doctor, and are you going to go to a sick doctor? If a doctor's sitting there coughing, wheezing, and he like, yo, we need to work on your ribs. You like, hell no. Yo, clear that phlegm in your throat up first before you holler at me, bro. So be aware of the scammers, because they come in all shapes and sizes. And they come in these fake jobs where it takes you to do a 2-hour video and $100 to get certified. But most people don't know it. And they come with their own agenda instead of real life experience, instead of having clinical work, instead of doing the true education that it would take for them to achieve such as that. Because you do have people who deserve that moniker, but most people that deserve that type of moniker are already real doctors that did the clinical work, that did their mastery, that did their PhD. Those are the people that are married, that speaks from experience. I just never understood people that talk about children and they never had kids. They like, oh yeah, my nieces and nephews. Fucking F your nieces and nephews. You could give them back, bro. At some point, you could give them back. When you have your own children, your own kids, then come and talk to me about any type of perspective about children. Because when you can't give them back, guess what? There's no book to this. So the fact that you have people that in these positions, instead of leaning on real research, instead of leaning on real education, they give you feeling base and agenda to be agents of chaos. So be aware of the scammers. Simple and plain, y'all. Yo, quick shout out. I seen Biggs. Is that Biggs in the building? Shout out to Biggs in the building. Patrick, disrespectful. Nah, I'm keeping it a buck, bro. I'm keeping it a buck. Shout out to Doe. You at living. You ain't okay. All right, so we're gonna miss that one because there was like a misword there. Not as important, but I'm not getting my hair done by no one here looking undone themselves. So you get my point, Paul. You get my point. Paying dues, credit hours, it's not family. You ready? I need a company. Okay. Your screen is so effing clean, bro. Somebody had to tell you, because my God. Appreciate that. For all that's worth. Appreciate that. Hit them likes, hit the 100s, hit them likes, hit the 100s. Appreciate you being here and tapping in. But but this is very real, y'all. This is very real. That's why where it's coming from, it matters. And just because somebody has a position, when you do the research on their position and you ask questions, it's like, yo, like I remember I went through a situation in my own family. And I simply asked the doctor in my family, I said, how many children do you have, man? She was like, I don't have any. So how do you do that? How do you give advice about children, about family, and you don't got none? How do you do that? So So y'all are typing in the chat my point. You're not gonna go to somebody to get your hair done and their hair is undone. You're not gonna go to a sick doctor. Y'all get my point. You see what I'm saying? So I agree. It's more than that. That's a fact. That's a fact. So beware of the scammers, because they pop up with these the titles that sound amazing. Like, oh, word, what's that? And then you're like, oh, what was the qualifications? Oh, and this is what you do. Oh, and this is the effect of your real life and real relationships. Oh, so be very aware of the scammer. Yo, y'all been amazing as always. I appreciate y'all tapping in. You know what? Before I go, if y'all haven't seen, I want to give a little review on the movie Highest to Lowest with Denzel, directed by Spike Lee, and also stars ASAP Rocky and Rick Fox was in there. Oh man, one of my favorite actors in the world is in there. His name is drawing a blank right now. Let me just look it up real quick. I always think about him as Peoples Hernandez from Shaft. And I can say his name, but I can't say his name, pause. Like, you know, when you know the name, but you can't say it at the moment. I have to look this up right now. Highest to lowest, please. Yes. Man, I can't think of his name, but it was a great story line to the movie. I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but it's a great storyline to the movie. I did dig the storyline. The acting is what kind of saved the movie in itself, because if you had any other actors in this movie that don't have the acting prowess of Denzel Washington, of Rick Fox, of I can't think of his name right now, which is crazy, and I'm trying to look it up, and it won't even let me look it up. But I always say his name is People Hernandez from the movie Shaft. If they didn't have these actors in the movie, this movie it would have been a rough one. It would have been a rough one. Again, it's a great storyline. It's a crime thriller, and Jeffrey Wright. I couldn't say his name. Jeffrey Wright. One of the best actors in the world. And their performances make the movie very watchable. It's a fire story, and the acting brings it out even more. But it was kind of clunky in the flow of the movie, in my opinion. But it is a watch. I'm not going to tell people not to watch it. It is a watch. Go and view your own opinion. You got ASAP Rocky in the movie, and you also have the mother from Godfather of Harlem. I don't know her name, but she's also a good actor as well. So it's deserved of a watch. It's about a music mogul, one of the best in the world, have a whole bunch of success in his company, and he's about to sell his company to the highest bidder. And from there, it's a roller coaster in itself. So again, I don't want to spoil it for you. I don't want to ruin it for you. But I do like the sound of the music as far as the music. Again, Denzel has such a great performance, but I wish the flow of the movie would have been better, in my opinion. I'm clowning. He sounds the same in every movie. Who, Jeffrey Wright or who sound the same? Jeffrey Wright, Rick Fox, or Denzel? Let me know which one you're talking about. But they also hooked up Denzel. I will say this. I'm only gonna spoil this. They hooked up Denzel with a good trip to Beijing before they did the movie. They had him all hooked up with the trip to Beijing. Like, we ain't never seen Denzel look this young in a minute. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to them. So shout out to Denzel. He was doing his thing. But again, it's a movie worth the watch. Like I said, out of 10, I give it a 6.5. I give it a 6.5, which is solid. That's not terrible. That's solid, but it is worth the watch. So make sure y'all go tap into Highest to Lowest. was was talking about Ice. Oh, you talking about Ice Cube? Yes, Ice. Oh, yes, yes. Oh my God, War of Worlds. Woo, War of Worlds. Woo. I like honestly, I look at War of Worlds as a comedy, bro. I know it's supposed to be a sci-fi. Nah, that's a comedy to me, because the acting in that movie is bad. It is bad. So, on a scale of 1 to 10 for War of Worlds, on a serious scale, I'm giving that I'm giving that a 0. As far as the comedy, I'm giving that movie about an 8, 9 when it comes to the comedy, because it's so bad that it's funny. That's how bad it is. So I just got to be honest. I'm just got to be. I'm not trying to diss Ice Cube, and I'm not trying to do that. I'm just being honest in what I watched, though. All right, y'all. Yo, I want to thank y'all for tapping in, tuning and tapping in every Thursday, every Sunday at 10:30, rocking with your boy, Can the Brothers Get a Rap? I'm your host, Ashley Lovechild. I want to thank some of the sponsors of the show, which is Button Snaps and OUV Records. If you're interested in becoming one of the sponsors of the show, hit me on Instagram at Ashley Lovechild. Also, I want to thank y'all for supporting my new EP that's on every music platform right now, Winners Loyalty. If you haven't heard of it yet, just type in Ashley Lovechild on any and every music platform, and it will pop right on up. Also, we're on the road to 20,000 subscribers. We're a little over 11,000 subscribers. So continue to like, subscribe, and share. Got over 500 rewatchable videos of this podcast on this channel, so make sure you tap in. Great for conversational starters with your friend, family, loved ones, girlfriends, or some of you ladies, your boyfriends. So make sure y'all tap into these clips. Also, those memberships in the page, different memberships do get granted different access, and I appreciate it. It does help with the growth of the show. Also, again, I want to thank the premier sponsor of the podcast, which is Button Snaps. Get the finest of movies, shows, documentary, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, that's Button Snaps. That's the word button, hyphenated sign, and the word snaps.com. Again, that's the word button, hyphenated sign, and the word snaps.com. I feel like I'm forgetting one last thing. Again, I want to thank all of y'all in the chat for always showing up, showing out, showing me major love, staying engaged, because again, it helps with the growth of the show. I love to have that conversation with y'all. We talk about everything, as you can see on the show, and we have a damn good time too as well. Even if we agree or agree to disagree, it's still love. It's still love, and we have a good time. So again, I want to thank y'all for tuning and tapping in. Make sure, again, y'all go put High Five on your playlist on those 3 songs that I spoke about. Make sure you go see those movies again, Poison Ivy, Bulletproof, and Instinct to Kill. Make sure y'all tap in and continue to show the love. Continue to show the love. Again, I'm here every Thursday, every Sunday. Every Thursday, every Sunday at 10:30 live, baby. So next time you come in, bring a friend. You know what I'm saying? Bring a friend and have that great conversation, because we talk about everything here. I feel like I'm forgetting one last thing. There's always that one last thing, right? You forget that one last thing. But yes, quick shout out. There we go. Quick shout out to some of the people in the chat. I'm not gonna say everybody. I'm gonna say a few people in the chat. But shout out to y'all. Shout out to Biggs. Shout out to Big. Shout out to Dope. Shout out to Vic. Shout out to Solo. Shout out to Culture. Shout out to. Damn, what? I gotta use. It froze up on me. I'm sorry, y'all. Shout out to Paul. Gotta shout out Paul in the building. Shout out Shark in the building. I'm not gonna say everybody. Shout out to Dark in the building. Shout out to Derek Knight in the building. Shout out to G in the building. Appreciate y'all tapping. I'm not gonna shout every single body out, but shout out to y'all that tapped in and showed that love, and I appreciate it. Again, you will see me live again this Thursday at 10:30. Hit that all notification bell, because I do pop up throughout the week. So I might just pull up tomorrow and just talk about whatever that's popping off tomorrow, because we live in this crazy thing called the world and in life, and something always popping off. So just tap in, hit that all notification bell. Y'all already know what time it is, man. It's love. And I'll see y'all this Thursday at 10:30. I'm out.